All right, there. We're gonna try this thing here one more time. Uh, let's see, my fellow brigaders and GMs and game enthusiasts and hobbyists and so on and so forth. This is day 24 of the 31-day challenge. Which, hey, by now we all know exactly what we're here for, even though sometimes I question some of some of the questions. But show now, in my defense, I've only got a tiny little copy of these rules because everybody kept going on about go here, go there, and I never got a full-size version of this, so it's hard for me to read what's on the questions. And there's one here where I cannot make out the word. I just cannot zoom it up enough to make it where I can read it. It gets blurred out. So it reads to me, question 24, share a blank publisher that should be charging more. that's that's funny. Charging more. I think I've been ranting, and a few other people. I think GM Grumpy did one not too long ago too on the same topic. Uh, Charging too much. I'm sorry, but they're charging too much. Hey, $50. $50 for this thing, and we bought this 5, 6 years ago. So, and it was $50 then, and it wasn't even new, just off the shelf. This has been out for what, 10 years, and it was a new copy. I grant you, but I paid $50 for this stupid thing. And while it is repackaged in a nicer setup with some changes and some modifications to the set of rules that run 3.0 and 2. Blah 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 blah. You know, I'm basically repaying every 10 years or 5 years. These guys need more money, so they say, hey, let's repackage this stuff. We'll make some things and everybody will be happy. This is where you got your 4.0, which I got nothing polite to say about 4.0. And they got 5.0. And I have not played 5.0. I have not read it. I have not looked at it yet. I may eventually, but I am not in a rush to go out there because, frankly, everything I want and need is in this 3.5 version is really good, and I don't see how you can really improve on this. That's just my rant. Game companies that don't charge enough. Well, I'm sure that there's some, and I'm sure that there's some that probably should charge more, and they'd still be in business, right? Maybe I don't know. It's hard to say, but I also know I've seen game books as high as a couple $100. One of the Star Wars supplements a while back was $90, and I about puked on myself when I saw the price. I love the game. I love Star Wars, but I couldn't justify almost $100 purchase for that at that time. I would have had to take a couple of months of my hobby money and save it together, then go buy that one book. And in that price of that one book, I would have had 2, 3 others, maybe 4, because I'm buying older stuff that's off the discount shelf, or older stuff because other people are unloading it because they went out and bought all this new stuff. I had an associate, and this has been a few years back, when 4.0 came out, and he wanted to run it, he wanted to GM it, and he had some deep pockets. So he went out and dropped like $250 and bought most of the core, two player handbooks, treasure book, the magic book, and a couple monster manuals, and 2 GM guides, whatever. And I just said, oh, come on, man. What do you need 2 GM guides for? First off, yeah, I can see a couple different player handbooks because what they're doing is they consolidated and back when 2.0, I've got all the supplemental warrior, wizard, rogue. What was the thief handbook at that point? I did a review on 1 or 2 of those in the past, not 6, 8 months back, right? So should they be charging more? I can't say it. I'm sorry. I can't say it. You have to be the judge of that, right? And if you got the money and you can pay for it, and some of you guys do, and some of you have access to some of this material through ulterior means, which is good, awesome. I mean, I see some videos of some people with some pretty fantastic looking bookshelves behind them with some really great stuff, and everything on those shelves look look new, look new. Hmm. Yeah, I'm all for taking care of my stuff. I mean, now, I know you might know who I'm thinking of, so I'm sorry I'm not ragging on you particularly, my friend. I'm inspired by your videos and what you say, and I find you to be a very thought-provoking individual. I'm just saying that even my brand new book, if you look at it, has some marks in the back where, the bindings seen a little bit of wear. This has been used. It's been played. I have a handbook back here that goes with 3.5 that literally has been played heavily. Just saying. I've got stuff that looks brand new too. I was speaking of that. We were out cleaning out Mom's house because she passed away in June, and I was under the impression that the attic was empty, and discovered it was not empty. It was full of stuff, and I'm glad that we went in there and did look around, because I found a large collection, a large part of my lead miniature collection that I thought had disappeared, and a few odds and ends, including a number of maps to my Judges Guild that I was distraught to find I couldn't locate. Well, I found, I think, most of the missing ones. I also found half of Twilight 2000's box. They did a thing on this not that long ago on one of these questions, and I pointed out Twilight 2000, and that the core books and the handbook are, they're just tiny. But they came in this box. Here's the back end of it. The front end, who knows? But this was at an era when most people didn't care about this stuff. We wanted what was in the box, not the box itself. We threw the box out, or it fell apart from use. That's what happened to this one. See, I used it, and it got, the game never got played, but I kept opening and closing, opening and closing. Eventually, it got smashed. Right, because I don't have at the time I didn't have the thought process. I was a younger man, and I didn't need fancy bookcases to display things, and I wasn't like some of the comic book collectors who really took really good care of their material. My stuff looks used and traveled, such as what it is. So, should a publisher that be changing the charger? I even wonder when the time comes. I finally, when my game system gets out there on the market, and that's going to happen, friends. I've got the contract signed. I'm just saying, it's just going to take a couple of years, according to them, and it's hard to be patient, right? But I can only imagine what they're going to have to charge for it. I mean, even in a digital format, you gotta get fair value, and you have to pay the bills. And a lot of good people are going to work on a project. They all get a piece of the pie, right? The creator, the editor, the writer, I get a small piece of the pie, and everybody else gets a slice, and then the company gets a big slice, and that's just the nature of the beast. And what are they going to charge for it? I don't know. I hope it's reasonable. I hope it's not priced to the point where a lot of people will go, "Oh, I can't. I just can't." Right? I'm not gonna miss a chance to plug it. But I'm telling you, my own game system is 100% designed from the ground up to be solo played. You don't have to have other people at the table. You can also play it over the internet. You can play it through the mail. It's actually better, when you have other people who are running their own houses, and you can kind of clash off each other and work with or against each other, but you don't sit around the table playing like role play, although there's an element in there that could be role played if you really wanted to. The mechanics allow for it. So anyway, that's 10 years worth of work, friends, just so you know. It's not something we sat down and just hammered out in a few minutes. So should it be worth charging a lot? I'd like to see a nice little a chunk of change come out of this, but I also want it to be, like I said, reasonably priced. I would love to see it sitting on your guys' shelf, shiny and new, and ready to play it or not. So, cannot pick a particular publisher, just like I can't rail against a specific publisher for charging too much. It's a matter of economics and demand, and our drive to collect and to play and what we can afford. I mean, you know, it's what it is. So there's my response for number 24.